Good evening. I, Vishwarupa Rath, welcome you all to the digital media platform of Uday India. Let's start with today's news analysis. Is Indian civilization a gift of Britain? Let's talk about it. Well, it is often seen that Western opinion shapers frequently view world history through the lens of the colonizer. Hence, they frequently have an incorrect understanding of the world history. They cling to the idea that colonial and imperialist rule substantially benefited the colonized people by introducing them to civilization and providing them with the blessings of industrial revolution. One such person is Fox News host Tucker Carlson. He thinks India's civilization is only a little over 3 centuries old and was a gift from Britain to India when it departed in 1947, rather than it is thousands of years old. Carlson said, when the US government withdrew from Afghanistan after 20 years, we left behind airstrips, shipping containers, and guns. When the British pulled out of India, they left behind an entire civilization, a language, a legal system, schools, churches, and public buildings, all of which are still in use today. Here's the train station the English built in Bombay. For example, there's nothing like that in Washington, D.C. right now, much less in Kabul or Baghdad. After this, netizens and fact checkers have showed him his place. In fact, they showered his Twitter with images of marvels of Indian architecture made after independence, including the Lotus Temple in Delhi and the Vidhan Saudha in Bengaluru, Prem Mandir in Vrindavan, Somnath Temple, Auroville Dome in Puducherry, and many more. The recently built Statue of Unity speaks volumes of infrastructural strides made by India in the years since its independence. The comment was so distasteful that even Congress leaders Shashi Tharoor lost his cool. While many have proved wrong, Carlson's misconception about India surprising was the support he got from some Indians. This colonial mindset among some angelized Indians is the most detrimental to our glorious past. And this mindset is a product of European and Hindu by mistake, Nehru. It was he who must be held responsible for Western world's dim-wit view about India. The past was dismissed and seen hastily by Nehru as a hindrance to India's efforts to advance and modernize. In this way, he was a byproduct of colonial prejudice, like so many other members of the anglicized elite had internalized the overt but purposeful contempt for Indian culture, and in particular, Hindu civilization. India must break with the much of her past and not allow it to dominate the present. He wrote in his book titled, ironically enough, The Discovery of India. The mindset of the most significant person in charge during the early years of independent India made the rehabilitation of the wisdoms and refinement of ancient India and Hindu culture a victim. In the anglicized class, he had sympathizers, especially in bureaucracy. The Indian Administrative Service, which superseded the Indian Civil Service with little to no change in the qualification required, was established by British and allowed Indians to apply as long as they set an example for the type of intelligent locals who could serve the empire. The entrenched elite members had a personal stake in maintaining the outdated systems that they ruled. Lip service was paid to India's glorious past, but little was done to integrate it with a national policy. After independence, schools and universities maintained colonial style curricula for many years. As a result, Raja Chola I and Krishnadevaraya of the Vijayanagara dynasty were barely mentioned in our history books, and no effort was made to concentrate on the political wisdom of Kautilya's Arthashastra or the Shanti Parva of the Mahabharata. The majority of British academics continued to write textbooks on Indian history. The prominence of rulers like Maharana Pratap and Shivaji was diminished. There was a persistent worry that history lessons may become overly communal if they focused too much on how Hindu leaders opposed Muslim rule. This was continued unabashedly for the last 6 decades, and in turn made Hindus a second class citizen despite being a majority. Now let's turn to how missionaries are mushrooming in Tamil Nadu and how leaders of the party in power they are encouraging them. Recently, DMK leader A. Raja's remark on caste at a meeting in Chennai sparked a controversy. Yet again, it is worthwhile mentioning here that DMK is the ruling party in Tamil Nadu right now. Mr. Raja, Nilgiri's MP and DMK's Deputy General Secretary, said Shudras were insulted in Manusmriti and denied equality, education, employment, and entry into temples. While addressing a meeting of Dravidar Khazagam, he said, "You are a Shudra till you remain a Hindu. You are a son of prostitute till you remain a Shudra. You are a Panchaman till you remain a Hindu. You are an untouchable till you remain a Hindu." In a video that went viral in social media, he was heard saying, "How many of you wish to stay as children of prostitutes? How many of you wish to remain untouchables?" Only if we are vocal about these questions, it will become elemental in breaking Sanatan Dharma. This is not the first instance where DMK government and its legislators have spewed venom against the Sanatan Dharma. The state of Tamil Nadu has been in complete grasp of Christian missionaries, and this is visible in the actions of the government and DMK and its leaders. There has been an increasing conversions cases in Tamil Nadu since the DMK took office, and the Stalin administration was frequently charged with being remotely manipulated by the Christian conversion mafia. Stalin reportedly declared, "The government in Tamil Nadu was founded by at the opening of the Church of South India's 75th anniversary in October 2021. While seated next to Dr. N. Ezilan, who is frequently accused of demolishing Hindu gods and goddesses in front of young children. Even in the state assembly, DMK MLAs openly mock Hinduism and its symbol, despite the fact that the majority of the state's electorate is still Hindu. The conversion by Christian missionaries is not a new phenomenon, and in particular in South India. It has been going on for ages. In a video that has gone viral on social media, a pastor is shown admonishing those who have converted to Christianity but aren't yet publicly identifying as Christians to come out from under their covers and do so. The pastors from Tamil Nadu reveals in the video that while official statistics indicate that Christians make up 3.5% of the population, they actually make up 35% of the population. In order to demonstrate their enormous demographic might to the nation and the authorities, he also advised all such crypto Christians to renounce all of their quota advantages accorded to Hindu Dalits and tribals. The conversion debate in India is not new, and even the European Nehru had to face the debate. Everyone in India knows about Nehru Rajendra Prasad public spat on Somnath temple issue. But what is less well known is that shortly afterward, India's first president and prime minister had yet another open discussion over foreign missionaries and Christian churches, evangelistic efforts. Nehru Rajendra Prasad, the Home Ministry, and a number of Congress chief ministers engaged in the discussion in Delhi. This controversy, which followed the uproar over the Rajendra Prasad's choice to attend the idol installation ceremony at Gujarat's newly constructed Somnath temple, reflected yet another instance of the conflicts over the religion, freedom of speech, and the state's role that drove the ruling Congress during the first decade of independence. On April 15, 1953, Home Minister K.N. Kadju told Parliament that while Indians were free to spread their religion, the new government did not want persons from outside, which is missionaries, to come and do that. This statement served as the catalyst for the debate. In a firm statement, Kadju said, if they come here to do evangelistic work, the sooner they quit it, the better. Tamil Nadu was at the forefront of the conversions at that time too, and can be evidenced by a report on Indian activities of two Italian missionaries in Fort Kochi was forwarded to the Home Ministry by the Madras State Administration, which is led by former Indian Governor General C. Rajagopalachari. Tamil Nadu in recent times has seen systematic demolitions of small temples in the state by a Christian government in the name of encroachment drives. So one ponders why Tamil Nadu's temples are at risk of attack. Because the presence of a temple has historically been a significant barrier to conversions. Even a modest temple can serve as a gathering place for spiritual gatherings, and it is there that believers create strong relationships that endure life's challenges. But things don't stop there. Presently, they are deceiving poor Hindus with churches that resemble temples. Even revered ancient Tamil texts have undergone church translations. The state's ancient customs like Jallikattu, which unite people, are the target of elimination. They will eventually replace all Hindu holidays with Christian ones, just as they did in all of the America and Africa. It's time to stand up to the conversions and systematic attack on Hindu beliefs and faith in Tamil Nadu and save the glorious past of southern India. Now, let's move on to how Congress is falling under its own weight. In Goa, just 2 months after it appeared that Congress had thwarted a defection attempt, 8 of its 11 MLAs, led by its two top leaders, Digambar Kamath and Michael Lobo, defected to BJP, leaving the opposition party with just 3 representatives in the House of 40. The Goa Congress Party collapsed in the middle of Rahul Gandhi's Bharat Jodo Yatra. It is the most recent in a string of departures from the Congress, which have occurred in the days after Rahul Gandhi began a 3,700-mile foot march to try to turn around the party's waning electoral fortunes amid internal strife. Due to defection, Congress has throughout the years lost control in states like Madhya Pradesh and Karnataka. Azad, a former union minister, left the party last month, accusing Gandhi of destroying consultative processes and the way the party was run. The departure occurred before the vote to choose a new Congress president and amid the Bharat Jodo Yatra. Azad was the most recent in line of important party figures to quit. He was one of the 23 leaders who, in a letter to Sonia Gandhi, the party's head in 2020, demanded internal reforms. Congress is going through its deepest existential crisis ever. The saying, when the ship sinks, the rats jump, is proven accurate as the party is plagued with desertion, defection, resignation, factional rebellions among G23 leaders of Congress and second round politicians mouthing BJP lines. In the past 7 years, a sizable portion of Congress lawmakers have demonstrated that they lack an ideology by switching sides and taking the grand old party on the verge of extinction. Or as the BJP says, Congress Mukt Bharat. Although the future of Rahul and the Congress party has been linked to this Bharat Jodo Yatra, the future of the nation will also be impacted by it in numerous ways. But it is also true that it would take a miracle for Congress to unite among its own ranks and then lead the fragmented opposition in the country to a victory in 2024. This was it for today. Stay tuned for more updates. Do not forget to like, subscribe, and share.